Welcome to another episode, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, and hit the link in the description and subscribe to my other channel, Reactionary Politics. A lot of heavy conversations going on over there. In here, the Latinos are really chastising their own people. These are not my words. These are all Latinos here essentially chastising their people. They're talking about the election and the vote for Donald Trump. And they're saying that the Latinos are calling on black people for help. And should they receive this help, because they're the ones that put Trump in office? This is what their own people are saying. I'm going to let them speak for themselves. And the purpose of this is just to have the conversation if we're talking about unification, because, the conversation has been going on this channel and others, somewhat on this channel, about black and brown and the unification or lack thereof, and each other's culture, and et cetera, over the last couple of months, what have you. But this is on a bigger scale. This is not about Southsiders and blacks, or what happened in prison, or between the Mexicans and the blacks, or whatever, or what's going on in LA with the Serranos and the blacks. This is more political and on a bigger scale, and they're just speaking about their culture and why they believe that they did not vote for Kamala and put Kamala Harris in the office, and why they instead put Trump in office. But again, let me let them speak for themselves.
Dear Latinos, being racist to other Latinos, indigenous, and black folks will not bring you any closer to the whiteness that you crave so much. And if this message bothers you, then it was probably meant for you.
Hey, I know this is gonna get a lot of hate and I might lose followers over it, but I don't give a damn. I'm gonna say what has to be said. I've seen a lot of people recently on my For You page, especially Latinos, saying, why is the black community not speaking up about what's going on around immigration? Why are black people not supporting the Latino community? This, and that. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that the Latino community deserves the support of the black community. And the reason why is because the black community didn't vote for this guy. The Latino community did. We, the Latino community, and I'm speaking about all of us, are the reason we are in this shithole that we are in. Because over 48% of Latinos voted for Donald Trump.
Hey, fellow Latinos, I'm not saying it's okay or right that black people are like, no, let them fend for themselves. I mean, honestly, it is okay, but I'm not saying like, yes, let's do that, because unity is what helps us. But also, like, I know it's not supposed to be transactional. I just need you guys to start thinking, because you guys are like, all gung-ho, active out there, unified together in the streets now. But where were you when the George Floyd protests were? Black people don't owe us anything. So think about that. Don't go back to the anti-blackness. Learn and stop saying the N-word. Do that. Stop saying the N-word and humble yourself. If black people tell you something's offensive, change it. Change it and don't become defensive.
Why are Latinos asking black people to join them in the protest? But last month, black people asked Latinos to stop saying the N-word because black people find it disrespectful when Latinos say the N-word. And Latinos were so offended that they started disrespecting the black community. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I want to say something. If you've been following me for a while or have gone through my videos recently, you see that I'm constantly pushing for unity between communities. Majority of the black people in the comments are stating how they get a lot of disrespect from the Latinos. And majority of the Latinos in my comments are actually really disrespectful to the black community. And I've been pushing for unity because these protests are not where we're going to unite. There's something bigger to come where we need that unity. And something that I've been noticing during these protests is a lot of Latinos are asking the black community for help. And when the black community states how they don't want to, or they don't feel like they should, Latinos are disrespecting them with racial slurs.
Leading up to November and what happened, I saw a lot of Latinos pop up and support him. A lot of Latinos say things like, well, my family came here legally, so everyone else should. I saw a lot of Latinos say things like, well, they're only targeting the criminals. When now you're hearing about reports of multiple people being round up or at least questioned that are not even criminals. You can look that up for yourself. I also heard of a lot of Latinos, frankly, just outright saying things like, it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter to them because it's not impacting them. And that y'all, is rooted in privilege. The ability to not care, or the choice, frankly, to not care about another group, especially of a marginalized group that is hurting, the ability to not care because it doesn't impact you, the ability to not care how the results went because it doesn't impact you, or you think it doesn't impact you, because we'll get there. There's privilege there.
I now feel for the Black community because I know what it feels like to be racially profiled. I didn't know it before, and I thought it was a little bit of a reach, but now I totally get it. That's what a man came out on here and said, and this is why we should believe victims. This is why we should believe people's stories. This is why we should have empathy, and this is why we should be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Because you thought it was a reach. That's what he said. He thought it was a reach when the Black community said that they were being racially profiled and they were getting stopped for no reason, and like it probably wasn't that serious. But now that Latinos are getting racially profiled, now he gets it. This is why empathy is so important, because you never know when the tables turn. And no, it shouldn't be transactional. It really shouldn't. You should believe people because you should think. You should be able to think outside yourself and be like, if that was me, I would hate that. I don't have to be Black to realize that that freaking sucks.
But what I also want to go ahead and mention, why I'm also not surprised that things went in this direction and now we find ourselves here. And now Latinos are like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't think that this would happen. Girl, bye. Like we knew, and we tried to warn you, but here we are. Latinos, we have an anti-blackness issue in our community.
Hello, guys, and
Anti-blackness. Say it ain't so, dog.
House. So now that we're getting screwed over by this guy, I'm sorry, but we have to first take some personal accountability and look at our uncles and aunts and brothers and sisters and friends who are Latino and voted for this guy. And before we expect other communities to come and save us, we need to start educating our own community, because we are now seeing the consequences of our own actions. And yes, I would love to have the support, of other communities, and be all united in this front. But I also understand the frustration Black people have, because like I said, they saw what was coming. They didn't vote for this. Look at the numbers. I'm not making it up. It was Latinos who put this guy in the White House. It wasn't Black people. It was us. And so before we expect other communities to come and save us and do all the work, we need to first recognize that we fucked up.
we are following the same agenda that we are fighting against. We are fighting against white supremacy and racism. Those ideas that, that we have, the way we think, the way we are taught to fear African Americans, that is the same thing that we are fighting against. It's no different. You can't ask African Americans for help. When this is in the real world, that is how they are treated. Reparations are owed to the African American community. Without them, we would not be able to vote. We would not be able to go to the same schools. We would not be able to sit wherever we want. Let's not forget. They have been fighting for a very long time, since they came here. I don't feel that as a country, we have paid the respect that they owe. They really do. We owe them everything. I want you to know that ignorance is our greatest enemy.
When Black people say
Yeah, ignorance is indeed the greatest enemy. Okay, well, we got one more clip, man. Basically, the same guy saying a couple things. Let me continue.
I grew up with family members who were not friendly towards Black people or said things around darkness or blackness. There's machismo in our community that is still very rampant. This need to dominate over women. So machismo, racism, the disinformation and misinformation that is an issue in our community. So all of that together, I knew, and I said this months ago, that it would lead to, or it could lead to, people not voting for her. And here we freaking are, okay? So I'm not surprised. And also internalized racism, the proximity or the need to feel like you want to be white, even though you will never be white. Never.
the message is clear,
Oh, you'll never be white, no matter how much you may want to. That's for anybody who wants to be white. All right. If you want to be black and you're not black, you'll never be black. You want to be Hispanic and you're not Hispanic, you'll never be Hispanic. There you have it. Just wanted them to speak for themselves. I didn't really want to interrupt. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. They are sort of calling their own people out. They're saying that, we have a certain culture. You all know it. You're denying it. You're lying. We grew up on anti-blackness. We were taught to fear black people. And, we have not been supporting them in their struggle. They've been struggling in this country since they stepped foot on this soil. And we left them to struggle all by themselves. And so we should not be surprised now that, when we're asking for help, that they're not breaking their necks coming to help us. When we didn't do the same for them. This is just what they're saying. This is the Latinos, as you just heard, speaking for themselves and basically, trying to start the conversation or had a conversation about what they believe or what they just said was, typical of their culture, which is to be anti-black. However you want to break it down. These are the words that they're saying. That you now want to recognize what black people have been saying. Black people tried to warn because we know the history of this country. We understand that they'll never let you in. You can never be one of them, no matter how much you want to be, no matter how much you try. And again, I'm talking about anyone who wants to be one of them, who wants to try. It's not going to happen. They'll accept you. They'll use you. They'll take your vote and use you for whatever that they can use you for. But as far as accepting you into their cult, to the country club, truly in any authentic way, it will never happen. And I mean, but some people believe that they can get closer to these individuals, particularly if they get far away from us. The further away from us, the closer they are to them. No, that's not how it is. And we know this. We know, at least most of us do, that they will never accept you in that way. We know this, and we try to tell you this. That Trump meant you no good. He never lied. He said what he was going to do from the beginning. There's a lot more of this, a lot more people talking just like this. MAGA is very upset with Trump now. The people that voted for him, the farmers, everyone. I can play a video right now, maybe I'll do it, of Asian Americans admitting that black people were right all along about this country and what goes on in this country and what's going to happen if you put him in office and what's going to happen if you do this and what's going to happen if you do that, because we know we've been living it our entire lives here in this country. I'm going to leave it there. I can go on and on, but I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Again, hey, this is just what they had to say. This is what their people had to say. They're calling it out, not me. Stay safe and stay free, people.